Hello and welcome back, guys. So in one of our previous videos we discussed about method measures of dispersion, right? And in those we had three: range, standard deviation, and interquartile range. So today we will be talking about interquartile range. Okay, so basically it is the formula for it in simple terms is upper quartile minus lower quartile. Okay, now these are difficult terms. Okay, so first of all we need to understand how a graph of cumulative frequency of the data looks like most of the time it looks like something like this. Okay, so this for example is our lower quartile. So the lower quartile is the quantity. Okay, and this would occurs at 25%. Okay, and this for example is our upper quartile. This is quantity. This comes at 75%. Okay, so what does that essentially mean? This means that the data, let me just write it again, sorry. Okay, so this means that the data that is lower quartile, the lower quartile means that 25% is reached, like the maximum quantity of the lower quartile is this Q. Okay, so this area represents the quartile. The quartile always means area. Okay, and the lower quartile means the quantity. Okay, so this Q1 represents the maximum quantity of lower quartile, which means the 25% of data is below this quantity on the left side. Okay, and this upper quartile means that let's say if this is, let me just extend the graph. Okay, this is 100%. Okay, so this 100% will come somewhere over here. Let me just make it. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so the upper quartile is basically the lower limit, the 75% limit, which means that above the 75% limit, the quantity above Q2 is the upper quartile. Okay, so the quantity above Q2 is upper quartile. So 75% is the lower limit of the upper quartile, whereas 25% is the max limit of the lower quartile, which means that 75% of data has been passed and only 25% of data has been left above, and that is the upper quartile. However, there is another thing that you're already familiar about, that is the 50%, and that is the median. Okay, let me just extend it over here. Q star, let's just name it Q star. Okay, so the median is, so we discussed earlier in our topics as well that the formula for median is n plus 1 over 2. Okay, but the lower quartile is 1/4 of the data, so that means that we will do 1 over 4 the cumulative frequency, and 1 over 4 times n plus 1 over 2. Let me just tell you that the lower quartile, that is so basically let me just rephrase it again. So the median, the 50% value is the median, and median is equal to, is basically half. Okay, so 1 over 2 n plus 1. Okay, and then we have the 25%, the lower quartile. Okay, so the lower quartile is 1 over 4 times n plus 1. Okay, and then we have the upper quartile, which is 75%. So the upper quartile would be equal to 3 over 4 n plus 1. Okay, so that would give us the upper quartile and the lower quartile. So now you understand what that essentially means. So now the interquartile range is basically upper quartile minus lower quartile, which means this 75% minus 25%, so this area. But as the quantity, we have to refer to quantity, like the lower is quantity, the upper is quantity, so the interquartile would also be a quantity. So the in this graph we can see that the interquartile range can be represented by q2 minus q1. Okay, q2 is basically the upper quartile, q2 is the upper quartile, and q1 is the lower quartile. Okay, so that is what interquartile range essentially means. Thank you for